Namaste and a very good morning to one and all present on the e-platform of Faculty of Law, GLS University, for the inaugural ceremony of the National Virtual Client Counseling Competition 2024, organized by the Legal Aid Clinic under the banner of Faculty of Law. Today, our esteemed chief guest of the event, Ms. Shirin Khajuria ma'am, Senior Counsel, Supreme Court of India, student participants, faculties, and the audience. An event like this cannot start without bowing down to the God Almighty. Let us begin the competition with e-prayer with the ray of hope upwards and heads down.
Kurutvang kalyanam arogyam dhanasampadah Shubham kurutvang kalyanam arogyam dhanasampadah Shatru buddhi vinashaya Deepajyotirnamostute Deepajyotirnamostute Shubham kurutvang kalyanam arogyam dhanasampadah Shubham kurutvang kalyanam arogyam dhanasampadah.
So very good morning to one and all present over here virtually. Today, on behalf of Dr. Mayuri Pandya ma'am, Dean Faculty of Law, GLS University, I, Darshan Pandya, Coordinator of Legal Aid Clinic, Faculty of Law, GLS University. It is my great honor and privilege to extend my heartfelt greetings to Ms. Shirin Khajuria ma'am, Senior Counsel, Supreme Court of India, an experienced legal expert with broad expertise across multiple fields. She has made notable contribution to the legal field, including advocating for special centers for vulnerable witnesses. As we embark on this journey of advocacy, communication, and legal powers, it is essential to recognize the significance of this competition. It serves not only as a platform for showcasing the legal expertise, but also as a testament to the dedication and hard work for all participants. This event holds a special place in our academic calendar, and it brings together the brightest legal minds from various institutes across the nation. The National Client Counseling Competition underscores the importance of effective counsels in the legal representative. To all the participants, mentors, judges, and organizers, I extend my deepest appreciation for your dedication and enthusiasm. Your passion for the law and your tireless efforts in preparing for this competition are commendable. And I have no doubt that you will all showcase the highest standard of professionalism and skill throughout the event. May this competition serve as a platform for intellectual exchange and become a stepping stone towards fostering a legal fraternity that is not only proficient but also compassionate. Now it is time to formally introduce our esteemed chief guest of our competition. So I invite Ms. Deepal Pandey, the faculty member, Legal Aid Clinic, Faculty of Law, GLS University, to introduce the guest of the inaugural ceremony. Over to Deepal ma'am.
Thank you, sir. Good morning, one and all present here. It is my privilege to introduce Ms. Shirin Khajuria, an accomplished legal professional whose career has been marked by significant achievements and contributions to the field of law. Ms. Khajuria began her journey in the field of law after completing her study from Delhi University in 1989. She gained valuable experience working at various institutions, including under the guidance of Ms. Indu Malhotra, a retired honorable judge of the Supreme Court. Throughout her career, Ms. Khajuria has been involved in several noteworthy cases that have had a profound impact on legal practices and societal norms. Notably, accepting her suggestions as an amicus in the case of State of Maharashtra versus Bandhu concerning the rights of a mentally and physically disabled individual led to the establishment of specialized facility to support vulnerable individuals in legal proceeding nationwide. Additionally, MEM has played a pivotal role in establishing legal standard, particularly in case related to taxation and evidentiary procedures. Her determined commitment to advocating for alternative dispute resolution methods reflects her dedication to achieving peaceful resolutions. Ms. Shirin Khajuria symbolized the highest standard of professionalism and integrity in her legal practice. Her tireless efforts in pursuit of justice serve as an inspiration to her peers and the broader community. I request all of you to join me in extending a warm welcome to Ms. Shirin Khajuria. Yes,
Thank you, Deepalman, for
thank
the
you so much.
introduction of our esteemed guest. Now it is time to hear from the expert, Ms. Shirin Khajuria, ma'am, Senior Counsel, Supreme Court of India. The participants are eagerly waiting to hear from the vast ocean of your knowledge and experience. So, without wasting much time, over to you, ma'am.
Thank you so much, Mr. Darshan Pandya, and thank you so much for the generous introduction, Dr. Deepal Pandey. Uh, it's really my pleasure and my privilege to be here with you all this morning. Dr. Mayuri, who's unable to be here today, I believe, the faculty of the GLS Law College, as well as the other faculties, the judges, the participating team, students, budding law professionals, and all those who have joined us today from across the country. I'm grateful to Dr. Pandya, the dynamic founding director of the GLS Law Faculty, for inviting me today to virtually inaugurate the National Client Counseling Competition. The GLS Law College has been firmly established as a premier law college to be reckoned with in the last 8 years. It has made a mark for itself by being placed in the Forbes Legal Power List 2020 as one of the top law colleges. I would also like to congratulate the faculty coordinator, Mr. Darshan Pandya, as well as the student coordinators who have worked to make this competition possible. I'm told there were 25 competing teams in the preliminary round, of which 8 have qualified for these quarterfinals. My heartiest congratulations to each of the participating teams for taking the initiative to participate in this competition. That's the first step, well begun. And a special congratulations to those 8 teams who have reached this milestone. What is client counseling? Simply put, it's the art of interacting with a client. Client counseling is more an art, I would say, than an exact science. It is a clutch of disciplines. Though there is legal craftsmanship involved, the human aspect must be kept in mind at all times during client counseling. The art of client counseling cannot be imparted in a pedagogical setup. It is only through practice and experience that one understands it fully, and hence such competitions are a true aid to understanding the process of client counseling. The client is the center of our universe. Whether you become an advocate or a judge or you are an in-house counsel, the client is the most important reason for your presence. I like to keep in mind what the father of our nation, Gandhiji, said. To quote him, a customer is the most important visitor on our premises. He is not dependent upon us. We are dependent upon him. We are not doing him a favor by serving him. In fact, he is doing us a favor by giving us an opportunity to do so. For each of you, the client interaction will be a unique experience and it will be of your own making. However, keep in mind what the client expects of you and how you, as a member of the noble profession, can act and behave. One of the first things I believe which a client expects from us is that you treat him equally, that you are respectful towards him, that your demeanor is one of an equal and not one of a superior. Just because you might know the legal subject better than him doesn't mean that he's inferior to you. Treating him with respect will create a trust and make them comfortable and relax so that they can disclose the complete facts, which is essential to assist the client and also the court. The next most important thing which a client would expect is care and empathy, that you care for them and that you empathize with them. Empathy is standing in the shoes of the client and understanding how he feels and accordingly reacting. Allot appropriate and sufficient time to the client. The next is that he would obviously expect you to find a solution to his problem. They can trust you and confidently hand over their worries to you. In fact, one of the things which I remember best is, when a lawyer tells you that don't worry, it's for me to worry. And if he sounds confident about you, the client immediately relaxes. Show that you are competent and you know the area of law. Prepare well and present their point of view to the court with conviction. It is said that you should be sure of the facts and sound in law when presenting to the court, which is what the client would expect of you. They also expect that you should be honest with them, give them an unbiased opinion, which is neither overconfident nor makes them disheartened. Keep them informed of the progress of their case at every hearing. Talk to them before the hearing and also after the hearing so that you know if there is any change in situation before the hearing and update them as to what the court hearing has been. Your fee structure should be reasonable and explained to them along with the process of the court. A lack of clarity on fees can in fact sour the client-advocate relationship. The Bar Council of India has, in terms of the powers given to it under the Advocates Act, prescribed the etiquettes and the duties of advocates towards their clients. These include the guidelines for taking of fees. For example, you cannot take a contingent fees which is dependent upon the winning of a case, since that could result in an advocate indulging in falsehood. The 5 stages of client counseling, which are generally known, they could be, of course, blurring of lines, are: the first is interviewing the client. The second is fact sorting and analyzing the problem. The third is planning how to tackle the issues. The fourth, discussing the options with the clients. And lastly, advising and strategizing. Before we dwell a little on these 5 areas, I would like you to think of how a doctor deals with you. Can you recollect the last time when you met the doctor, the way that she spoke with you, how comfortable you felt, how you would have possibly liked her to deal with you? We can draw parallels from it for client counseling, since in both the cases, the clients are anxious as well as distraught. So maybe keep a doctor in mind when you are client counseling. The first, as I mentioned, was effective interviewing. Just to go into it a little more in detail, this is to help you elicit the relevant and complete information and the history of the dispute from the client. It's a very crucial stage and it forms the basis of your final advice and your presentation to the court. Its importance cannot be overemphasized. The effective interviewing techniques are: you first introduce yourself, you could exchange your business cards, listen to your client very carefully. You could possibly read up on the difference between listening and hearing. Listening is when there is empathy, then you would actually listen to what they are saying even without saying it in so many words. I like to say that you listen with your heart and your eyes and not just with your ears. With your eyes also, because body language is very important, of yours as well as of the client. Pay attention to it. Build a facilitative atmosphere, switch off your phones, try and not interrupt the client, just be patient, listen to it like a story. You can make notes. Do not judge the problem instantly. We can question the client to fill in the gaps a little later. Make a rough list of dates while listening to them so that you can picturize the entire dispute as to how it arose. Often during conversations, you will find that the client himself may get clarity on what he really wants. Take the complete papers very scrupulously and meticulously in a chronological order so that you can build a story. Also, keep the original and the certified copies of the documents and orders in a separate folder carefully and make a photocopy of them for use during drafting. Take a wakalatnama from the client, don't forget that. And you may like to discuss the fee structure at this stage, at this first initial stage, after you have heard their story. The second stage is analyzing the problem and fact sorting. This is basically in your mind. You mentally analyze the nature of the problem based on the facts which are gathered and build a logical story. Be circumspect at this stage and not judgmental. Separate the chaff from the grain and discard the unnecessarily misleading information which might have been provided to you and analyze the real problem. The agreements which may be the basis of the dispute should be looked into carefully. You might have a clause on arbitration which would preempt any kind of a litigation. It would also possibly mention the territorial jurisdictions, so read them carefully. Also have a look at the communications very carefully to see if there have been any admissions by either side. The impugned judgment itself, in fact, if you are in appeal, may be something which may be partially in favor of your client. Just help them understand that. The third stage is the planning stage and the research stage, which could be done either independently or in consultation with the client. You can plan the additional information and the research need based on the facts and documents which you have taken. Some of this, of course, the documents and the research only the client could provide with you, while the rest of it could be with your own research, including through RTI. Particularly useful in the case of employment matters and PILs. Research on the portal of a Ministry of a Company Affairs and also maybe secondary level information through a chartered accountant with regard to the detailed annual returns of a company, I have found very helpful in company matters. The fourth is discussing the options with your clients. Once you've done your research, you've done your planning, you've taken all the facts, then it is best to discuss the options with your client instead of keeping them close to your chest. Once there is clarity, this can include anything as basic as whether a legal notice is to be sent to the client or not, sent by the client, or whether it should be sent by the advocate. And to whom is it to be sent? The claims are against one person or more than that. Also, before you assume that litigation is the only option, it's best to consider the 4 ADRs, the alternate dispute resolutions, which are provided in section 89 of the CPC. The first is conciliation, the second is mediation, the third is arbitration, and the fourth is lok adalat. Each of this is a unique process. In some cases, like in the Commercial Courts Act, there is compulsory pre-litigation mediation. In fact, parts of the Mediation Act have been notified last year, and I'm sure you all would have read up on it. To enable the clients to make the right ADR choice, we should be able to effectively distinguish between these 4 ADR methods and also the litigation to see which of them is the best option for your client. The ADR not only reduces the burden of the courts, but it is cost effective and time efficient, and it's invariably a win-win situation for all the parties. You all might have seen the movie Erin Brockovich. Otherwise, maybe you could see it. It's a very interesting movie for lawyers and those of us involved with it. It's based upon a true story where you see the advantage of an out-of-court settlement in a class action by over 600 persons against 2 companies, which was for contamination of water by lead, which led to deformity and, in fact, even death of many children. So the many plaintiffs realized during the trial that it's going to take many years, and they were running out of time and money. On the other hand, the companies realized that they had already had bad publicity and were likely to have huge damages from the courts. The parties finally settled at about $5 million per person. So the parties were looking ahead and taking a holistic picture. The last is advising and strategizing. After going through the above process, it is not difficult then to advise and strategize the best options. Go over the papers and be clear on the legal propositions. The advocate's confidence gives comfort to the client. Depending upon the client's preferred choice and your belief that it is a sound option, finalize the best option. Be gently firm while advising and do not act unless you are convinced. The strategizing and advising actually continues throughout the process of resolution of the dispute. The Honorable Supreme Court, in the case of J.S. Yadav versus Mustafa in 1993, has observed that, and I'd just like to quote from there: advocacy is not a craft but a calling, a profession wherein devotion to duty constitutes the hallmark. The sincerity of performance and the earnestness of endeavor are the two wings that will bear aloft the advocate to the towers of success. Given these virtues, other qualifications will follow on their own account. This is the reason why the legal profession is regarded as a noble one. Unquote. To conclude, I would say treat the client with respect. Remember the age-old adage, which is generally attributed to the President Theodore Roosevelt. People don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. May each of you go out today and be your best. If you do that, you would have won even before the trophy is won. Thank you so much to the organizers once again, and all the best to each of you. Thank you, Darshan.
Thank you, Shirin ma'am. Thank you so much, ma'am, for your inspiring words. And I am very sure that student participant and other students, 100% they obey and they follow your rules and regulation which you say. Now I would like to invite Dr. Vaishakhi Bhatt, the faculty coordinator of Legal Aid Clinic, Faculty of Law, JLS University, to offer a formal vote of thanks.
Thank you, Darshan sir. Good morning, everyone. I, Dr. Vaishakhi Bhatt, would like to grab the opportunity to offer the official vote of thanks on behalf of Faculty of Law, GLS University. I would like to thank Ms. Shirin Khajuria, Senior Counsel, Supreme Court of India, for gracing this competition and providing your valuable insight to budding lawyers despite having a busy schedule. Ma'am, your time and dedication made it possible for us to reward students for their innovative efforts. I would also like to thank our respected Dean, Dr. Mayuri Ma'am Pandya, for encouraging us to organize these kind of events. I would also like to thank all my colleagues of their constant support. A big thank you to all the students, participants for taking part and showing their innovative efforts. Thank you, everyone. Have a nice day.
Thank you so much,
Thank you,
Dr.
ma'am.
Vaishakhi. Thank you so much. With this, we can come to an end of the grand inaugural ceremony, and now the quarter-final rounds will begin sharp at 11 o'clock. Then we have a semi-final round and final round, and today we are going to have a validity function also at evening. So I request all the participants to kindly start and joining the respective office rooms, and all the best to all, and thank you once again. Thank you so
Thank you
much.
so much. Thank you to each of you.
Thank you.